to be soldiers away from the battlefield. All soldiers belong to the same profession, and it makes them different from everybody else. They have to be different, for their job is ultimately about killing and dying, and that doesn't come naturally to any human being. Yet all soldiers are born civilians. The method for turning young men into soldiers, people who kill other people, is basic training. It's essentially the same all over the world, and it always has been, because young men everywhere are pretty much alike. It doesn't really matter where you're coming from or what you've been doing before. Where the kids on this bus are coming from is all over the United States, and they're as motley a group of 18-year-olds as you're likely to find. But what they're about to go through will turn them into the same thing, soldiers. They'll be in the United States Marine Corps, not the Soviet Army, but beneath the uniforms there's very little difference. It's now 2 o'clock in the morning, and this bus is not late. Marine recruits always arrive at Parris Island Training Base in the middle of the night, and they won't set foot outside the base again for 3 months. The secret of basic training is that it's not really about teaching people things at all. It's about changing people so that they can do things they wouldn't have dreamt of otherwise. If you want to change people quickly and radically, what you do is put them in a place where the only right way to think and to behave is the way you want them to. You isolate them. And then you apply enormous physical and mental pressure.
You'll be here at recruit receiving base for 5 days. During this time period, you're going to receive all of your uniforms, all of your shots. Your service record book will be brought up to date. Everything you need to be processed in the Marine Corps. Who does not understand that? Now, where are my group leaders? Group leaders. Get up here on the sidewalk facing that way, right there on the curb. Mo. Hurry up, Private, I don't have all day. I said get on the curb facing the group.
Facing me. Do not run, walk swiftly. Do not run, walk swiftly. Go ahead now, straight to the front. Hurry up. Hurry up, walk quickly.
Go, quickly, sit down in that chair. Give me another private in here.
Move up there.
Stand right in front of that chair over there. Give me another private in here. Stand right in front of that chair. Get in here, you. Stand in front of that chair. We move quickly, private. We've already been told that a dozen times.
The first step in basic training anywhere is always the same. It happened to me when I joined the Navy 20 years ago. The recruit is stripped of all evidence of his civilian identity, his hair, his clothes, everything that makes him look and feel like an individual. Marine basic training is more extreme than in most armies, but essentially what's happening to these teenagers here is happening to other 18-year-olds all over the world at the same time. They're entering a machine which turns out a very special and artificial product, soldiers, and we're going to follow them through the machine. For American troops at this point in history, these Soviet soldiers are the main enemy, and vice versa. But it doesn't really matter who the enemy is. It's the idea of the enemy that's important. That's the outside threat that binds a combat unit together so strongly that its members will make the most extraordinary sacrifices for each other.
A Marine is laying out in the middle of a paddy, and he's wounded. He's not crying for mom. He's wounded. He might be moaning a little bit. He might be cussing because he's mad. Another Marine that's in safety because he got behind a dike, he's real safe. But he crawls out into that paddy and he pulls that wounded Marine to safety, risking his own life. When probably the Marine's going to bite the bullet. He's going to die. And probably the one that goes out and tries to save him is going to die. Why is that done? you ask yourself that question. And you don't check out the Marine's name, you don't check out where he came from, you don't check out how tall he is or how short he is. You don't care whether you're from California and he's from New York. All you care about is he's a Marine. And he's in your unit. He's one of you. Lift your heads and hold them high. Lift your heads and hold them high. 3313 is a passing by. 3313 is a passing by. Singing left, right, I lay you. Motivation. Motivation. Dedication.
Armies everywhere try to catch their recruits young because they're more vulnerable and easily influence them, and they don't really understand about dying. You can train older men to be soldiers, it's done in every major war, but you can never get them to believe that they like it.
We're having a ball. We're having a ball. All the way. All the way. We love it. We love it. Can't leave it.
But if you're young enough, all the ideas about heroism and military glory that you picked up in childhood are still there, unadulterated by adult experience, like buttons waiting to be pressed.
We will fight our country's battles in the air, on land and sea. First to fight for right and freedom, and to keep our honor clean. We are proud to claim the title of United States Marines. You have an enemy here at Parris Island. The enemy that you're going to have here at Parris Island is in every one of us. It's in the form of cowardice. The most rewarding experience you're going to have in recruit training is standing on line every evening. And you'll be able to look into each other's eyes. And you'll be able to say to each other with your eyes, by God, we've made it one more day. We've defeated the coward. The United States Marines.
You have got to be very aggressive. Once you have got your opponent on the run, once you've got him on the run, that means you go ahead and strike with that first killing blow. Probably that fight might not stop. Just because you made contact, that don't mean you stop. You don't cut him no slack. Don't give him room to breathe. Stay on top of him. He's going to be backpedaling all the way with his guards up. And you stay on top of him. Keep pumping that stick. Everybody follow me there. That means that there should be nothing out here today but a lot of groaning, moaning, a lot of snot, eyeball falling. And I should see nothing but a lot of heads rolling all over the place. I don't want to see no holding and no pity pat.
Go get it. Go get it.
Start it off wrong now,
Get it, Johnson. Now get it. Get it. Get it.
Hit your stick up.
In the head, Johnson. In the head. Get it, Johnson. Now get on top of it.
Sick 'em, boy.
There's aggression in all of us, men, women, children, babies. Armies don't have to create it, and they can't even increase it. But most of us learn to put limits on our aggression, especially physical aggression, as we grow up.
Swing it, swing it, hit him! Hit him! You got him! Now it's about time, it's about time!
A crucial part of turning people into soldiers is teaching them to ignore these limits, so that in the right circumstances, against the enemy, they'll go all the way and kill.
Hold your stick!
Get in there, Adam. You're a waste of human life there.
That's all you do is shut your stick! That's all you do is shut your stick!
Give me the
over there! Keep moving! Keep crawling! We ain't got all day to lay there! Keep moving! You ain't got time to stop! Get that tip of that rifle on your helmet! Go!
In some ways, what basic training produces is the uniformed equivalent of a modern street gang, a bunch of tough, confident kids full of bloodthirsty talk. But kid gangs don't actually kill each other in large numbers. If they behaved the way armies do, you'd need trucks to clear the bodies off the streets every morning. But they're held back by the civilian belief, the normal human belief, that killing another person is an awesome act with huge consequences. So basic training has one more vital job to do: to indoctrinate recruits with the idea that the enemy, whoever he may be, is not fully human, and so it's all right to kill him.
Now, first off, what is a mine? A mine is nothing more, Privates, than an explosive or chemical substance that is designed or made to destroy and kill the enemy. You want to rip out his eyeballs again, you want to tear apart his love machine, you want to destroy him, Privates. You don't want to have nothing left of him. You want to send him home in a glad bag to his mommy. Hey, show no mercy for the enemy. They are not going to show it on you. Marines are born trained killers. You got to prove that every day. You understand? Yes, sir! All right. Okay. Now, what are some of the uses for grenades and pyrotechnics? Well, I just mentioned the first one: produce casualties. Far too many Iranians in the world, are there not? Yeah! Let's go over there and flatten that country, should we not? Yeah! I'll take this series right now. We'll go over there and kick some ass. All right. All right.
Basic training has been much the same in every army in every age because it's always working with the same raw material that's already there in teenage boys: a fair amount of aggression, a strong tendency to hang around in groups, an absolutely desperate desire to fit in. Basic training is one of life's few total experiences, a mild form of brainwashing, if you like, and it works. You may be slightly insane at the end of it, I know I was, but that wears off after a while. What's left behind is a sense of loyalty to the service and a set of instinctive reactions that operate automatically, even in combat.
All right. Good luck, guys.
So long as nations keep armed forces, there will always be enough recruits. Young men are not natural soldiers any more than they're natural carpenters or accountants, but it's a trade that almost anybody can learn. Soldiering takes up a much bigger part of your life than most jobs, but it doesn't take a special kind of person. Anybody's son will do.
I'm so proud of my son.
Have you seen a big change in him?
He's beautiful.
He's different. He's more man.
He's a man now.
You glad he did it?
Oh, I'm happy.
I did it for them.
I'm proud of him. I'm so proud. He's a beauty.
Thank you.
Real feel good inside. Glad it's all over, at least the boot camp part. They say the toughest is still to come. But
This your dad?
yeah, this is my father. He's a retired Marine.
How do you feel about your son now?
Oh, I think it's great. I think this is the best thing that happened to him. Really do.
Where are you going now?
I'm going to be going home for 10 days. Then I go to Memphis, Tennessee for 11 weeks of school. And then I'll get orders there for my duty station. And I'll be actually in the fleet. So it won't be long till I'm back on the road doing my job.
These young Soviet soldiers are doing their job too. And it's the same job that soldiers everywhere, under all flags, have to do. Even though most soldiers will never actually fight, they spend most of their time preparing for war. The whole nature of the military profession is shaped by that single goal. Not that it's soldiers who cause wars. Governments, acting on our behalf, are the cause of wars. We simply employ soldiers to do the dying for us.